Japan. Land of glowing cities. Land of sacred mountains. Land of traditions and mystery. More than 100,000 cherry trees in bloom every spring. Over 1,000 Zen gardens carefully raked every day. 160,000 temples guarding ancient secrets. Welcome to Japan, a land where the sacred and the profane dance together. Where ancient rituals blend with the roar of modernity. Where every simple gesture holds centuries of meaning. Our journey begins in the eternal snows of Hokkaido, where winter paints Arctic landscapes and the silence of the snow is broken only by the steam rising from the onsen, the natural hot springs that dot the land. Moving southward, we traverse landscapes that transform with the seasons. Here indeed, the seasons are not simply 4, but 6, including the mysterious Tsuyu, which is the rainy season, and Shokubai, which is that transitional period where autumn whispers the first secrets of winter. As we continue flying over the main islands, a unique spectacle unfolds beneath us. Despite the image of futuristic megalopolises that the world associates with Japan, 70% of this land remains a wild realm, composed of mysterious forests and towering mountains. Human civilization has concentrated in the remaining 30%, creating some of the most efficient and technologically advanced cities on the planet. Here on the Pacific Ring of Fire, more than 100 active volcanoes continue to shape the landscape, marking this land with over 1,500 earthquakes annually. But it's in the details where Japan's true magic lies. Take the trains, for instance, the famous Shinkansen streak across the country with almost obsessive precision. So much so that a 54-second delay is considered excessive, while being 30 seconds early requires a public apology. It's a country where efficiency meets poetry, and where cutting-edge technology coexists with ancient Shinto and Buddhist temples. Two religions that interweave through every Japanese person's daily life. Moreover, Japan gifts us some of our planet's most curious and fascinating stories. There is an island, for example, called Okunoshima, where hundreds of wild rabbits hop freely, transforming the landscape into a living fairy tale. Not far away on Aoshima, cats reign supreme, outnumbering human inhabitants in what appears to be an independent feline kingdom. It's also a land of fascinating paradoxes, where three different writing systems, which are hiragana, katakana, and kanji, coexist harmoniously on the same pages. This land of contrast is also home to the world's oldest reigning dynasty. The emperor, the only one still existing with this official title, represents a living bridge between past and future. Furthermore, it's no coincidence that here, where even the way of bowing follows precise rules, women hold the world record for longevity, living an average of 87 years, while men aren't far behind with their average of 81 years. Perhaps the secret lies in Japanese cuisine, so extraordinary that it has been declared a UNESCO heritage with its 3 national symbolic dishes, sushi, ramen, and unagi. This is Japan, a country where volcanoes forge the landscape and seasons paint time, with ancient gods continuing to whisper their stories through the torii gates of Shinto shrines. This is the story of an ancient land that continues to reinvent itself while keeping its millennial mystery intact. And it's precisely from here that our journey begins, through the most extraordinary places of this nation. Tokyo. An ocean of skyscrapers merges with the sky, creating a metropolis that breathes to the rhythm of 37 million inhabitants. In the heart of this urban organism, the Shibuya district pulses like a human power plant. Thousands of people cross this iconic intersection daily, creating a synchronized crowd that repeats every 120 seconds. At dawn, meanwhile, the Toyosu fish market awakens. Tuna is cut with precision, following rituals passed down through generations, and the scent of the sea mingles with that of freshly cooked rice wafting from restaurant doors. Among all these skyscrapers, however, the Sensoji Temple stands resilient as a witness to a lost era. Incense rises toward the sky while the toll of the bell marks time. At night, however, Tokyo transforms into a bioluminescent organism. In Akihabara, which is the electronics district, neon lights illuminate technology and video game stores. While just a few kilometers away, in the vintage alleys of Shimokitazawa, the charm of old Japan remains perfectly preserved. Finally, beneath the Rainbow Bridge, the city lights reflect in the bay, creating a true artificial constellation. Kyoto. Time flows differently in this city, which features approximately 1,600 temples. In the Zen garden of Ryoanji, 15 stones emerge from a sea of raked gravel. Every day, monks patiently rake this gravel, drawing waves that will remain undisturbed. At dawn, the Maiko, who are apprentice geisha, traverse the alleys of Gion in their kimonos, which are true works of art created using ancient techniques. In the tea houses, meanwhile, the rhythm of life is still measured by the slow boiling of water. At the Golden Temple of Kinkaku-ji, every morning the sun transforms the pond's water into a mirror, with koi carp swimming among the reflections. The pavilion rises on 3 floors, each built in a different architectural style, telling the story of Japanese architectural evolution. Furthermore, in the temples of Fushimi Inari, thousands of torii gates create tunnels that climb the mountain, with each gate telling something, a story, a wish, or a prayer. The best time to visit Kyoto is certainly April, when the cherry trees awaken and the petals dance in the air like pink snow, transforming the city into a world suspended between reality and dream. Hiroshima. The Oda River flows through the city center, dividing into 7 branches that embrace the urban heart of Hiroshima. The Genbaku Dome stands against the sky, an immobile witness to August 6, 1945, while its walls preserve the memory of that instant that changed the course of human history. In the Peace Park, the peace flame continues to burn uninterrupted since 1964, promising to burn until the last nuclear weapon disappears from Earth. Moreover, thousands of paper cranes color the Sadako Memorial, where children from around the world bring their origami creations as a symbol of hope and rebirth, while the sound of the peace bell carries its message beyond the park's boundaries. The streets of the modern city, meanwhile, pulse with life, thanks also to restaurants where chefs prepare okonomiyaki, according to Hiroshima tradition, layering ingredients on hot griddles and telling through this dish the story of a city that never surrendered. Miyajima. Just 45 minutes by ferry from Hiroshima's memorial site, the island of Miyajima emerges from the waters of the Seto Inland Sea like a bridge between past and present. The torii gate of Itsukushima Shrine watches over the waters, creating a portal between the earthly and spiritual realms. During high tide, the shrine appears to float on the sea, while local deer roam freely among visitors as guardians of this sacred land. On Mount Myson, moreover, the forests remain identical to how they were hundreds of years ago, with temples that are even 1,200 years old. At sunset, when the last ferries return tourists to the mainland, the island reverts to its primordial state, with the sound of waves merging with the song of seabirds. Mount Fuji Area. Mount Fuji is undoubtedly Japan's most important symbol and dominates the horizon with 5 lakes arranged at its feet. Lake Kawaguchiko reflects the sacred mountain in its waters, creating a painting that changes with the seasons. In spring, cherry blossoms frame the lake, while in autumn, maple leaves tint the shores red. Lake Yamanakako is the largest of the 5 and hosts local fishermen with their ancestral fishing techniques, while Lake Saiko conceals nearby ice caves with frozen stalactites even during summer. On Lake Shojiko, however, which is the smallest, morning mist creates surreal plays of light. Finally, we find Lake Motosuko, immortalized on the 1,000 yen banknote, which holds the deepest and most mysterious waters. Naturally, at the center of this landscape, Mount Fuji rises toward the sky with its 3,776 meters. And although it has slept for more than 300 years, it continues to watch over Japan as it has done for centuries. Osaka. It's Japan's 3rd largest city, but its true distinction lies in the food. The Dotonbori district is built around an ancient commercial canal and is the beating heart of the city. At night, the lights of hundreds of restaurants reflect in its waters, while thousands of people come here to taste local specialties like takoyaki, which are octopus-filled dumplings, and okonomiyaki, which is a Japanese pizza that every family prepares according to their own secret recipe. In the heart of the modern city, meanwhile, stands Osaka Castle, which is a 500-year-old fortress that dominates the skyline of skyscrapers. Not far away, the Shinsekai district tells a different story, with streets illuminated by establishment signs, and the Tsutenkaku Tower dominating the district just as it did in the 1950s, when this area was a symbol of the post-war era. Finally, the Shitinoji Temple is the oldest in Japan, with 1,400 years of history. Its gardens offer a moment of peace in the midst of the city, while the bells continue to ring as they always have, blending with the sounds of the modern metropolis. Nara. The Todaiji dominates Nara's landscape with its imposing presence. Here the great Buddha has sat in meditation for 1,200 years, while light filters through the beams of the world's largest wooden temple. The sacred deer, messengers of the gods in Shinto tradition, roam freely through Nara Park, peacefully interacting with visitors. The paths, meanwhile, traverse centuries-old maple woods, leading to hidden shrines where lanterns mark the way. In Kasuga Taisha, 3,000 lanterns create paths of light, while deer move among the pilgrims. At dawn, mist envelops the park, and deer emerge among the trees, creating an atmosphere that transports one to a timeless Japan, where nature and spirituality merge into a single experience. Bamboo forest. The bamboo forest of Hiroshima and Nagano, located in Kyoto's outskirts, is a place of quiet and astounding beauty. The tall, slender bamboo stalks rise toward the sky, creating a green canopy that filters sunlight in such a way as to transform the grove into a sanctuary of peace. The sound of wind whispering through the bamboo is recognized as one of Japan's soundscape treasures, an auditory experience that completes the visual tranquility. Walking along these green paths is like entering another dimension, an escape from urban frenzy that reconnects visitors with nature in a deeply meditative way. Okinawa. An immense turquoise sea, beyond which lies a realm of contrasts where life flows at a different rhythm from the rest of Japan. This tropical archipelago shelters thousands of corals in the depths of its waters, while on land, stories of resistance and rebirth intertwine. Coastal villages still preserve the rhythms of the past, where inhabitants regularly surpass 100 years of age, guardians of wisdom passed down through dances, music, and rituals that survive time. In the mangrove forest, meanwhile, endemic species hide, while ancient castle ruins recall an independent kingdom that traded with Imperial China. Okinawa represents a delicate balance between modernity and tradition, where the boundary between land and sea blurs into one great story of resilience. Sapporo and Hokkaido. Hokkaido is Japan's northernmost island, where temperatures drop to -40 degrees. In this realm of ice and snow lies Sapporo, its capital, which is the last major city before the wilderness. Famous for its beer and the February Snow Festival, it's a perfect blend of modernity and tradition, while in the city life continues through underground tunnels that connect entire districts. On this island, meanwhile, bears and deer roam freely among primordial forests, while steaming hot springs puncture the snow cover, creating oases of warmth where red-furred macaques find refuge from the frost. Beneath the thick white blanket, Hokkaido conceals several active volcanoes, which fuel a unique ecosystem where life always finds new ways to thrive. Nikko. Among perpetual mists and cedar forests lies a place where spirits and nature merge into a single entity. Nikko's shrines emerge from the dense vegetation, where every decorated gate tells stories of dictators and monks who shaped Japan's destiny. Water flows everywhere in this sacred place, from waterfalls cascading between volcanic rocks to the purifying fountains of temples, while wild monkeys observe visitors from the tree canopy. There are also golden eagles which dominate the sky. Stone roads lead through vermilion torii gates to the golden Toshogu Mausoleum of the most powerful shogun in history, testimony to an era when art and power merged in manifestations of earthly glory. Shirakawa-go. Among central Japan's mountains lies one of this nation's most beautiful villages. The Gashozukuri houses rise toward the sky with roofs resembling praying hands, built without nails through techniques passed down through generations. During winter, snow covers every surface, reaching up to 3 meters in height, while inhabitants gather in the upper floors of houses to work silk from silkworms, as they have done for centuries. Spring transforms the landscape into terraced field expanses, where rice grows following ancestral methods, while autumn tinges everything red and gold. Here, moreover, inhabitants keep alive a cooperation system called Yui, where the community unites to repair thatched roofs and preserve this living heritage, which resists the passage of time. Himeji. From the heart of a modern city rises a fortress that has dominated the skyline for more than 400 years. The White Heron, as Himeji Castle is called, defies gravity with its overlapping structures that climb toward the sky. The builders of the past created a labyrinth of passages, traps, and hidden doors, designed to confuse invaders who never managed to conquer this fortress. The walls conceal arrow slits and secret weapon storage, while the surrounding gardens hide invisible moats. The stone stairs, moreover, lead through 6 floors of history, where samurai and princesses lived through war and peace. This castle has withstood earthquakes, bombings, and the passage of centuries, standing as a witness to an era of military ingenuity and Japanese architectural refinement. Nagano and the Japanese Alps. Nagano is a region traversed by the Japanese Alps, the country's highest mountains. In the heart of these mountains, snow never completely melts, and valleys hide where red-faced macaques immerse themselves in natural hot springs to escape the cold. The paths cross through large forests, which change color with the seasons, leading to Buddhist temples, where monks practice meditation among nature's sounds. The mountain walls rise for more than 3,000 meters, creating an environment where ibexes and eagles find refuge far from civilization. The mountain villages, meanwhile, keep alive traditions such as the production of wasabi plants, which grow in the pure waters of mountain streams. During winter, the snow blanket transforms the region into a paradise for skiers, while in summer, the alpine meadows fill with flowers that grow only at these altitudes. Kanazawa. "600 years ago, this city was as wealthy as Kyoto. It was one of the few cities where samurai allowed geisha to perform in their quarters. Today, in the Higashi Chaya district, geisha still cross the streets, cradled by the sound of the shamisen, the typical Japanese musical instrument that resonates from windows. The Kenroku-en Garden, meanwhile, was built by the city's lords, and it took 200 years to complete. Its streams follow precise paths studied for centuries by gardeners. Finally, in the Nagamachi district, the samurai houses remain intact. Inside, they preserve secret rooms and hidden passages used by warriors to defend against enemies. Even some families still live here, in the same houses as their ancestors. Ishigaki in the Yaeyama Islands. Ishigaki is Japan's southernmost archipelago, just 200 kilometers from Taiwan, with a tropical climate and an ocean so transparent that you can see the seabed at 30 meters depth. The waters hide coral reefs where giant manta rays move among schools of tropical fish, while on land, sea turtles lay eggs on the beaches. The villages preserve rhythms dictated by sea and wind, with fishermen departing at dawn on traditional boats, following the same routes as their ancestors. The mangrove forests, meanwhile, create labyrinths of water and roots from which inhabitants gather medicinal herbs. During traditional festivals, drums resound until dawn, while dancers with demon masks perpetuate rituals that exist only in this archipelago. Kamakura. Ocean waves mark the rhythm of a city that governed Japan for centuries. The Great Buddha, 13 meters tall, has sat immobile since 1252, witness to tsunamis, wars, and earthquakes that have transformed the landscape around him. In Zen temples, meanwhile, monks rake sand gardens, creating patterns that represent the universe in miniature, while the scent of incense mingles with the ocean's salty air. mountain paths connect hidden shrines where samurai went to pray before battles, and today are traversed by pilgrims seeking the same peace. Another important tradition, surviving since samurai times, is the Tanabata festival in July, during which streets fill with colored lanterns, while traditional drums accompany dances celebrating summer's arrival. Hakone. A volcanic valley 2 hours from Tokyo, where the earth literally boils beneath your feet. The ground is so hot that an ancient tradition exists here, namely cooking eggs in the hot springs. A cable car soars over this steaming valley, offering a unique view of Mount Fuji. Nearby, meanwhile, winds an ancient path of black stones, which is an original section of the Tokaido, the road samurai traveled on foot between Tokyo and Kyoto. Moreover, at the valley's center lies Lake Ashi, where boats built like ancient ships patrol the waters, passing near gigantic red temple gates that emerge directly from the lake. The area also hosts one of Japan's largest outdoor museums, with enormous modern sculptures scattered among woods and springs. Nagasaki. A port city different from any other in Japan. On the streets, indeed, you can see Catholic churches next to Buddhist temples, while in the Chinese quarter stands the Confucian Shrine, the only Confucian temple in the entire country. This mix of cultures has a precise history. In 1500, the Portuguese arrived here to trade and brought Christianity. But when this religion was prohibited, Japanese Christians hid in hillside villages to pray in secret. Then, on August 9, 1945, Nagasaki was struck by the atomic bomb. Today, the city has been reborn, becoming a symbol of world peace. In the center, the Peace Park and its museum tell this story, while Japanese gardens offer a space to reflect on past and future. Yokohama. The sea has shaped the identity of this port that transformed from fishing village to metropolis of the future. Here, cargo ships still cross the bay, as they have done for over 150 years. The Minato Mirai district, meanwhile, rises where once there was only water, with skyscrapers rising from land reclaimed from the sea, through engineering works that have redesigned the coast. In the Motomachi district, streets preserve the architecture from the era when foreign merchants built their residences, while in Chinatown, red lanterns illuminate alleys rich with spice fragrances. Finally, the red brick warehouse on the waterfront testifies to the era when Japanese silk departed for Europe. And in all this, the Cosmo Clock 21 Ferris wheel marks time in a city that never sleeps. Kyushu and Mount Aso. Kyushu is Japan's third largest island and is the closest to Korea. On this land, 300 volcanoes have created a landscape unique in the world, and the most spectacular volcano is Mount Aso. In this active crater, which is larger than anywhere else on the planet, the Earth breathes through volcanic vents, releasing clouds of steam toward the sky. The volcano dominates a lunar landscape, where herds of wild horses gallop across prairies, created by centuries of volcanic activity. The surrounding valleys hide villages where inhabitants have learned to coexist with nature's force, building houses with volcanic stone and cultivating fields fertilized by volcanic ash. Kobe. Between sea and mountains winds a city that has made rebirth its essence. The commercial heart beats between Sanomiya and Motomachi, where large shopping centers alternate with small boutiques and covered galleries. While nearby, on Kitano's hills, European-style villas tell the story of the first foreign merchants. The port, meanwhile, illuminates the night with a network of lights reflecting on the water, and ships follow trade routes established centuries ago. In Nankinmachi's alleys, the Chinese community keeps its traditions alive, while the fragrance of spices mingles with that of the sea. In the city's market streets, moreover, butchers pass down the art of preparing Wagyu beef, an excellence that has made Kobe famous throughout the entire world. And then we find the port tower, symbol of a city that looks to the future without forgetting its maritime roots. Takayama. Nestled in the Japanese Alps, this town preserves the traditional atmosphere of ancient Japan. Its stone streets and well-preserved wooden houses, dating back to the Edo period, offer a step back in time. The town is famous for its morning market along the Miyajima River, where you can find fresh local products and typical handicrafts. Among its most precious treasures stands the Takayama Jinya, a rare example of an Edo period government building that served as a local administrative headquarters and is now a museum telling the region's history. Finally, the Hidesanagu Shrine and the Samachi Suji district, with their ancient sake distilleries and souvenir shops, are must-see attractions. Concluding this visual journey through Japan, we have moved from its most remote regions to its most celebrated destinations, discovering together not only its temples and landscapes, but also the fascinating details that make every corner of this nation truly unique. We hope that these images and stories have enriched your understanding and sparked a desire to personally explore the diverse beauty of this archipelago.